Cohort for strategy management, and our speaker, our mentor perhaps, Mr. Gopal, is just getting joined to the Zoom session. So give us a couple of minutes while he sets up um, his setup for that matter. So give me just a bit. So far what we have seen is we have seen about strategy management, how to build a strategy, and so on and so forth. We also looked at how we can actually get our once a strategy has been made. There are two pitfalls, or for that matter, things that we need to look at or be wary of when we start doing strategy management or doing a strategy of an organization, is that we ensure that we are able to not only take too much of time, we do not take rather too much of time to build a strategy and too much of thinking on it. Rather, start building a strategy and a holistic review and we need to look at holistic review and start working towards it, and then later on start measuring it. There are many strategies. The organizations, the think tank of the organization, which is usually the leadership team, they will take the time uh, to build a strategy, but the strategy implementation goes to the different hierarchy of the organization, wherein uh, let's think about an organization like a pyramid one, wherein you on the top you have the leadership team, then you have the after the leadership you will have a small management team, then you will have some supervisors, or in other words the team leads, and of course the workforce. So all the responsibility um, or the responsibility of getting this strategy executed lies on the top three layers, whereas the last mile employee, which is the team member in the team, is the one who is actually the hands-on guy, who would be actually be working on the strategy, and he or she would be actually doing the groundwork. So give me just a bit. I got okay. Mr. Gopal is ready. Um, give me just a bit, and we can start. Okay, so we can see the slides as well. There you go. He's online. We are going a bit old school as far as the technology is concerned, to make sure that we are able to uh, get you the content. He is in a certain part of the world and I'm in a different part of the world, and here you go, we got these slides on. And Mr. Gopal, if you can hear me, you can take over now. So you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry for a little bit delay from my side, actually. Yesterday I had a big event on, online. We had a strategy meet, and it was till late in the evening. So I got stuck. 1 second, let me put it on full screen now.
Congratulations on that, sir. I heard it was a great success. Nearly 200.
It was a great. Yes, nearly 200 people on different platforms they joined, and we had a number of speakers lined up, including from South Africa, from North America, and Middle East. There are a few people from Saudi Arabia, and I think there was somebody from Qatar also. They were just sharing their best practices and how they achieved the outstanding results. So that is what I was really tied up in morning. I was busy with some of the people, their comments, responding to them,
Wonderful.
So
Congrats, sir.
Let me just put it on 1 second. I have to make it in the PowerPoint presentation mode. Okay. I should have done it before.
You can
Oh.
just simply press F5, or on the bottom right, you have this symbol.
Yes, but that symbol is hidden by the display of
Zoom, huh?
yes, display of Zoom. So that's the reason. Okay, let me go other way around. I'll find a way. Just give me a second. Sorry for this. Yes, you're able to see now full screen.
Yep, all good.
Okay. So if you recall, I think we were here and we discussed this slide that how strategy is developed. So basically, there are 4 steps for developing and implementing a strategy. So to start with, you do the strategic analysis. So you do analysis of your external environment, and you do the internal analysis to understand your capabilities, your resources, and uh, your expertise. So basically, from the external analysis, you have opportunities and threats, because opportunities and threats are in the external environment, what all opportunities you have, and what are the threats if those circumstances or those incidents come through, how they will be affecting you negatively, right? So you have those opportunities and threats, and then from internal analysis, you take out your strengths and weaknesses. What are your strengths which you can use and leverage to take advantage of the market opportunities? And weaknesses you have to address by using the right kind of strategies and practices so that you can overcome those weaknesses and beat the competition. So that is why you do the SWOT analysis, what we call, and based on SWOT analysis and some other elements of the strategy, what we call as a value proposition we discussed last time, that what kind of a value you want to offer to your customers that differentiates your business with your competitors. So that differentiation you need to identify very clearly. And then you do the game plan, that how you're going to leverage your position or your positioning and value proposition to beat the competition. And based on that, then you develop a financial model, that what kind of profits and revenues I'll be generating, or I will be able to generate uh, using these strategies. So that is the part of the strategy formulation. And then you have value gap analysis, where you find out what is my current performance and what is my performance, desired performance, or the planned performance, that, okay, currently this is my revenues and profit, and going forward in 3 years or 5 years time, this is what I want to achieve. And then you decompose this value gap, that, okay, some of the value will be bridged, or the gap in the value will be value means we are talking about is that what are your targets, right? So let's say you have a target of $100 million, and currently you stand at 50 million. So balance 50 millions, from where it will come. So some of it will come if you are already in a business, some of it will come from your existing business, and for some, maybe you can offer balance, let's say $50 million coming from existing business, another 50 million, from where will you get? So you identify that, okay, I will introduce new products and services which will generate this much. Then probably you will have some different versions of the products and services you are already offering. From there you will get. So you decompose and then find out that, okay, from where I'll get this 100 million. The difference is 50 million you already have, and balance 50 million, how will you, from where will you get it? And based on that, you develop action plans that you will take these actions. Maybe actions involves going to a new territory which you are not addressing currently, or introducing new products and services, or maybe improving customer acquisition processes to get more customers for the existing products. So these are all we are talking about high level strategies, and these high level strategies need to be further broken down into action plan. So when the implementation is uh, implementing the strategy involves taking those actions which will help you in bridging the gap between the current performance level and the desired performance level. And if you're planning for, let's say, medium to short term or long term strategy, then probably you will be looking at, okay, what annually I will be getting from these new markets or products and services. So you have, let's say, 3 years plan and you do the projections. And then you start implementing those strategies. Right? So this is the fourth part. The last part is implementing the strategy. So now we go into, this is the complete overview of strategy, planning, and development. And then implementation, we will be looking at separately. Okay, so strategy development process involves these key elements, which we have already discussed. So having a mission, vision, and value is important. And the reason why you need to have mission, vision, and values is to reaffirm the highest level guidelines about organization's purpose and conduct, right? So your mission actually defines that what is the purpose of your organization, why this business exists. So it is very high level. You want to solve a problem that customer is facing, or you want to satisfy a need of a customer. So that is the purpose, right? Then vision is what you want to achieve in 3 to 5 years time or 10 years time. You might have 10 years vision. That these are like having targets. Mission typically doesn't have any targets. It is just a purpose, and normally the mission or the purpose is valid throughout the life of a business. Okay, mission you revisit once you achieve your vision. Let's say you have a 5-year vision or 10-year vision, you achieve those because those are quantifiable targets in the vision. And values actually is what are the things you will do or you will not do to reach to your vision. So values actually define your organization's character or your business's character. That, okay, I will be very honest, I will be customer centric, I will do whatever it takes to make sure that my customers are happy. So customer centricity is one of the value. The same way, let's say respect for all can be a value, so that you will respect your customers, even your employees, and everyone with certain level of dignity and respect. So these are called values, right? So you can read rest of it. I will not read everything because otherwise this half an hour will go into that, and you can look at it, and probably later on you can watch it again, and then you can pause and see. So what the activities, what you need to do is your mission analysis. If you already have a mission and vision, probably you revisit them. You analyze your mission, whether it is still relevant. You develop a vision statement if the vision is closer to, let's say, achievement, and then you identify the core values, and then based on your vision, what we saw in the earlier slide, when you are developing your strategy, you have high level targets. So those things you put into the vision, that how you're going to do, and then you develop kind of an enhanced vision, which includes some more details that from where your vision you are going to achieve. So it is focused on the actions and the results for achieving your vision, right? So based on enhanced vision, then you come to strategy goals, that where are we going? So we define at the highest level, we define the financials or mission goals. It's not necessary that you have to have the financial goals. not-for-profit organization, they have a mission. They want to solve some problem for their audience or their customers, right? So they may not have financial targets. They might have the targets for their mission that they want to uplift, let's say, the lifestyle of the people who are living in slums, for example, right? So their goals are different and they are more mission driven than the vision driven. For-profit organization, they are more vision driven. Of course, mission is the guiding principle which they follow. So for-profit organization, you need to develop an economic model, as I discussed just earlier, that when you are breaking down your vision, then you need to know from where my profits and revenues are coming. So you develop an economic model. It can be like geographical expansion, it will be product expansion, and where all you will be operating. So you develop how these revenues will come. You might have multiple streams of revenues and profits, and you need to work on them parallelly. And those activities will involve, as I said earlier, it's a value gap decomposition, that from where these revenues and profits will come, what are the streams of operations and products and services. And based on that, you develop high-level strategic themes. For example, geographical expansion. Currently, you are operating in Qatar, you want to expand to other GCC countries. So then it becomes one of the strategic themes that, okay, geographical expansion. New product development can be another theme that, okay, I will develop new products based on latest technologies or based on maybe you have done a competitive analysis, all that we'll do. And then you develop 3 to 10 years goals. Typically, at the minimum, you need to have 3 years goal. Of course, it depends on the industry you're operating in. So consumer goods, the goals will be for smaller duration. It may be just 3 years, but if you are in a projects business, or if you are into construction, or if those kind of industries where it takes much more time to complete your assignments or projects, you may develop up to 10 years goals. The duration will actually increase your risk. If you have 10 years goals, 10 years is a long period. Many of the things may change. But then if you're looking at the industry, some of the industries, for example, oil and gas industry, if somebody wants to put a refinery, it takes almost like 5 years, 7 years to have the complete plant in place. So they are looking at 15 years, and then how the demand of those petroleum products will be, what are the new technologies. So those are the things you have to take into consideration. So this is where you define your strategy goals. So, and that answers the question, where are we going? And then you do the strategic analysis. What are our key issues, as we discussed in the earlier slide? And based on that strategic analysis, you do the strategy formulation. So how best we should compete and beat the customers, right? If you have any question, you put it in the chat, and then we will try to answer at the end. But I'm just running a little quick so that we are able to cover at least few slides, because half an hour is a short period.
Yep. So I'm monitoring all the LinkedIn and YouTube as well, and of course the Zoom as well. And yes, half an hour is the optimal time that we have selected as a bite-sized learning. So
yes,
so that's what
I understand.
Yeah,
And I respect it. Yes, people are busy. They have full-time job. They are doing other things. So I really appreciate. But yes, I just wanted to highlight that aspect. Okay, this is the typical schedule for a medium-sized organization. It takes up to 2 months to 10 weeks to develop this strategy. And these are the key activities. So if you have already mission, vision, values, you reaffirm them. And if you don't have, then you develop them, or you revisit them if it has been a long time since the mission, vision, and values were established. And then you identify preliminary issues that, okay, currently what challenges or what opportunities we are facing because you are already an existing business. You do the strategic analysis in the second phase. So that also takes almost 3 to 4 weeks. And it is important that everybody is involved in a strategy development and execution. This is very, very important, including lower level people, so operational level peoples as well. So doing this strategic analysis takes another, typically it takes around 3 to 4 weeks. Then a strategy formulation, another 3 weeks, so that you decide and answer the key questions: where to compete, what is my value proposition, and how I'm going to compete. High level, you are not going into detail, uh, but high level, what you're going to do, how you're going to achieve. And then you further you break it down into small bits and then do the implementation planning. So, and the last part is, of course, implementing the strategy. Though it is shown as almost like 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks, but a strategy implementation is always an ongoing process. Once you have the strategy formulated, you need to communicate with the rest of the organization. Or first of all, you need to involve as many people as possible in formulating the strategy, and then you need to communicate continuously. And then implementation involves identifying the gaps and desired performance and how you're going to bridge that gap. So you decompose those value gaps and then finalize and initiate action plans, that how you're going to bridge that gap. So you have definitive action plans with action owners and the targets. So what is your current level of performance? What performance you're looking at, let's say in 3 years' time or 1 year's time, whatever your horizon is, and then you finalize and initiate the action plans. So this is where actually the work happens, that you take these actions to bridge the gap in your current level performance and the desired level performance. And based on your planning horizon, you will have annual targets. For example, you have a vision for next 5 years, that currently we are in 2023, 2028, what is going to be my performance? You decompose and then you have annual targets for the next 5 years, and then you follow up with that. All
So,
right?
so there's a
Yeah.
question about the strategy implementation.
Okay.
Does
What
the
is the question?
organization structure, usually an organization will have a pyramid kind of structure. Does it
Mm-hmm.
by any chance the overall, do you have a cross matrix kind of organization structure or a pyramid type? Does this kind of structure help to, would there be a good organization chart which actually will help to, for implementation better, or doesn't matter?
Actually, it doesn't matter, but you have to adapt to your implementation style based on the organization structure. So if you have, let's say, typical pyramid kind of a structure where you have, at the bottom, you have most of the employees, okay, and it is one single unit, then it will be top driven. Okay, so it's like army, how the army is managed. But the communication needs to be very, very strong, and the supervision and follow-up has to be very, very strong. There are organizations which are like a matrix organization where the people have cross responsibility. In that case, you need to be more careful that who is responsible for what. A matrix kind of organization will have dual reporting responsibility for some of the people. So they will be having the functional boss and they might have the regional boss, for example, or, so in that case, you need to be very careful that and you need to clarify to all the employees and of course the managers that what is the reporting structure, on what aspects he will be reporting. For example, the functional attributes of the responsibilities will be managed by functional boss, and regional responsibilities will be handled by the regional head of that. It's like you are operating in multiple countries and you are sitting in headquarters and you are responsible for headquarter as well as one of the regional territories. In that case, you need to have the dual responsibility, but it can need to be clearly defined that what aspects of his responsibilities will be managed and reviewed by whom. So of course, it depends on the organization structure, how the whole organization is structured. So that will actually uh, have an impact on the reporting, and then probably finally coming up with the report card. There has to be one person who will be communicating the overall uh, uh, performance and giving a feedback to the employee.
Okay,
Right?
thank you. Yep, thank
Okay.
you. So, do we want to stop here because we are top of our half an hour, or you want to take another slide?
Let me just look at this slide. I think this is okay. This is a project schedule with more details. I think we will finish this slide as well, so that people are able to correlate what we have discussed in the previous slide.
Correct.
So, right. So these are the activities which are required, right? So you have typical balance scorecard project. Now, what we are looking at is strategy implementation process, because strategy development is a one-time process. You develop a strategy, then you can have quarterly review and looking at how we are performing. And then in case any course correction is required on these quarterly review, minor changes you will be able to do to your strategy, right? The implementation takes a lot of effort and time. So development it's one-time activity. Then you have quarterly or half-yearly review of your strategy, whether your strategy is still valid. Because if external circumstances change, then you need to really tweak your strategy. For example, suddenly you have pandemic situation like what happened in the COVID. So most of the organizations were not prepared. So suddenly they found a totally different scenario where everything was disrupted. So those kind of situations are different, but otherwise you typically quarterly you will have a review and then you will see whether my strategy is going on track. We are talking about balance scorecard project schedule. This also is a one-time activity, but then it requires a constant follow-up. This is going to be a live document. The strategy also is a live document, but this is more focused because this is where the results you will be achieving. So these are the typically 5 steps. I think I'm missing one step at the end or something. I don't know. Okay, we'll just look at the kickoff is the week 1. A kickoff meeting happens. Typically, this is attended by the top management and key functional heads and regional heads. So kickoff, as many people as possible should be involved. Then you have those first workshop you conduct, which is over a 4 weeks period for a medium to large size organization. A small organization, it can be smaller. So you define a strategic destination, as we discussed earlier, that you look at time horizon of 3 to 5 years where you want to reach. Then you identify the key themes, that how I'm going to achieve the targets which are defined in my strategic definition. And then you build those strategic objectives and linkages, that, okay, how I'm going to achieve those within those strategic themes. So strategic themes means I'm looking at, let's say, improving my revenues, and some revenue will come from existing business. Some revenues may come from new products. Another revenue stream can be a new geography you are targeting. So it's not that when you're doing new product development and launching new product, you can't move into a new territory. So you might have product expansion as well as geographical expansion, right? So these are the key themes when we call them as strategic themes. And for all these strategic themes, you build the objectives. That, okay, what is my objective? So objectives, there will be some objectives which are the result objectives, and some objectives will be like enablers which will lead to those results objectives. And then you develop the linkages that, okay, new product developments, this is what I'm going to do. So there's one major objective is developing a new product. And then you need to do the manufacturing and you need to do the selling part of it. So then you have objectives related to all these key activities in that particular strategic theme. Okay, so that's a step 3, where you build objectives which are conducive to achieving your high level objectives in the strategic themes. And once you have all these objectives, then you need to put the measures and targets in place. So it can be revenues in terms of dollars, it can be time frame that, okay, within 2 months' time, I will be able to develop my new product, and it becomes a project. Right? So this is how you put those measures and targets. And then, of course, in the last, you have those maps and, inventory map, and then you prioritize your initiatives. What are the initiatives I'm going to take? And what are the action plans? Who are responsible for those? And then to achieve those objectives, who are the people who will be reporting at the higher level? So all those things you finalize in workshop 3. So you assign responsibilities to different individuals for taking care of all these aspects of your strategy. And then last one is, of course, you get the first report. So it's typically in 3 months' time, you should be able to implement the strategy, and you have the first report ready available for the management to have a look at. Is it clear? So we can stop it here.
Yeah, I think we will stop here just to remind people that Mr. Gopal has just released his book, wherein you can, though we are doing this 30 minutes of 30 minutes of bite-sized learning, but if you want references and if you want, at times it helps because people, or for that matter, as a personal preference, you might want to have a book with you which can help you, especially in the choppy times when your organization is going through a change, to have these strategies and gives you those correct vocabulary by which you can communicate to your management, your team, and of course use the tools and techniques that we are discussing over here in your day-to-day life for implementation and of course monitoring of the strategy. A strategy, defining a strategy, having a strategy comparatively might be easy, if Mr. Gopal can correct me if I'm wrong, but getting it implemented and monitoring is the bigger chunk of it, which actually is an ongoing process, and it's very important that we keep monitoring it. So he has his book. I was just looking for if I can find the link, sir. If you can, maybe you have the front page of the book with you. You can maybe show it on the screen, if it's okay with you. And
Yes.
would the book be already available on the Amazon as of now? You were telling me that it's going to get launched on Amazon also and Kindle.
Yes. Okay. The thing is, right now it is available on Amazon.in. So in India, it is available.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I think in another couple of days, it will be available on Amazon.com internationally. So people should be able to buy in Middle East as well as in Europe as well, and UK.
Okay.
And international edition will be paperback, and what is published in India is a hardcover.
Uh-huh. And I've seen that book. It looks, it actually looks a very good book.
Okay, I wanted to tell one thing. Sorry, Vishal. I want to tell one thing. Whatever PowerPoint slides you are looking at right now, same slides you will find in the book, and same way the whole book is written, that it is in an engaging format, and it is like a guide book. I will put not as a reference book, but it's kind of a guide that it will it will help you in going through the whole process, and then you should be able to do it on your own. Everything is explained. Whatever I am explaining here verbally, that is what is in the book as well. So it's not like just theory. And my book is more on based on practice, and it is for people who want to really know and implement the strategy. It's not theoretical book. It's a practical book with all the samples and appendices, all these slides. I think majority of the slides you will find in the book, and they are explained in the way I'm explaining you right now in the live session.
So smashing. Give me just a bit.
Okay, no, let me, I will do it. I will do it. It should be available. It will be, okay. Yes. By the way, I'm already working on the book. Second book.
In advance, congratulations.
I'm just working on the structure.
It's good, sir. You're keeping yourself engaged. You're keeping yourself.
Yeah,
You're sharing your knowledge with the industry. Not everyone does that.
okay. Okay, this is the book cover. I just found it in one of the folders. You're able to see it?
Yes, we are able to see it. So it says Mastering Strategic Excellence, your success guide to growth and profitability using balanced scorecard. So yes, so it's not only talking about strategy, it's also talking about the tool by which you can measure.
Implement this, right?
Yeah, you can measure that how good your, in numbers, not in emotions rather, that how good your strategy is getting implemented. Are we reaching there where we are? What needs to be done? What are the gaps? And so on and so forth.
Yes.
So
All right, Vishal. Anything, any question from anybody?
No, I don't see any questions, sir. But I think we either we are explaining in such a simple term that people are able to understand, or it's too early in the morning on a Sunday.
I know.
It can
All
be
right,
either of two. So with that, we come to the end of our session for this week. You have been an awesome audience. Thank you very much for joining in today. If you have any questions, you can always post those questions even after the session has happened, especially on our LinkedIn and YouTube channels. And you are more than welcome to post anytime, and we would be responding to your queries as quick as possible. Thank you very much. You have been a very good audience.
Okay. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Okay. Bye-bye.